Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mayday Media. Got another wild Trump thing here going on. I'm kind of, I'm a righty tighty, more far righty, and I do not approve of this man. This is not any way anybody would act. I would assume if you were president of the United States. I mean, are you a movie star? I mean, what? I don't even think Ronald Reagan would have done stuff like this. This is a joke to the American people, no matter if you're a MAGA supporter or not, which I am not. I gave 25% of my backing to President and to him in 2015 whenever he ran the first time, and I took it back in 3 months after he filled the swamp right back up. And most of you probably remember that. I do not approve of this. This is nothing that any leader of the free world would ever do. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry to anybody who understands kind of what this says here about our country. Let me read this here. President Donald Trump issued a new threat to Iran early Wednesday, posting an image of himself holding an assault rifle alongside a blunt message, "No more Mr. Nice Guy." The image, shared on Truth Social after 4 p.m., showed the gun-wielding president in a dark suit and sunglasses standing before a backdrop of explosions tearing through a hillside. We're going to read some of the comments down here later, but let's see here. Iran can't get their act together. Well, looks like Trump's got his movie star act together, don't it? They don't know how to sign a non-nuclear deal. They better get smart soon. I can't get their act... No more Mr. Nice Guy. The escalation comes as efforts to secure diplomatic breakthrough have slowed, with a planned second round of peace talks recently abandoned after weeks of conflict and fragile ceasefire dragging on. Tensions have remained high in the U.S., and Israel airstrikes on February 28th triggered retaliatory action from Tehran, including strikes on Gulf states hosting U.S. military assets and the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, a vital global shipping route. This disruption sent oil prices surging, intensifying pressure on both sides to reach an agreement. Yeah, I think it went up to, was it 117? I can't remember here. I know it's on Tuesday, Trump claimed on social media that Iran was in a state of collapse and seeking relief from its blockade of the strait, though no independent confirmation of that assertion has emerged. Despite the rhetoric and pressure, Trump has also maintained that he is under no time frame to strike a deal, even as the prolonged standoff continues to weigh on global markets and diplomatic efforts. Yeah. Here's some comments. They say camera puts on 10 pounds. Look like, though, it removed 125. I actually really like this image. I fully support putting a rifle in Tubby's hands and sending him to Iran to fight his own dumb war. Yeah, I mean, agreed. Shouldn't have posted himself with seashells. A real threat. If called to fight, I'm pretty sure Dr. Jesus Rambo would self-diagnose that his bone spurs are suddenly acting up again. Yeah, this man actually got out of going to the military from a bone spur. And, he's trying to send your kids there. Try to get your 50-year-olds to fight. Trump, the Iranians, and ignoring you because you are funny to watch. They also make better videos mocking you. By the way, truths thou shalt do war. Expect to come out of it. I really don't know what that is. At this point, the guy is just a chew toy to distract. Same with Kimmel and butt-grabbing Melania. What does high banking command want? That's the question. What does high banking command? Yeah, that is the question. High banking command. I mean, you know who that is. And what an attack dog for them too. I mean, but it'd be nice if he was an attack dog for the U.S. people the way he is for a certain country. Benedict Donald had his chance to fight for his country. Instead, his daddy and a doctor make up a diagnosis of bone spurs and a letter to get him classified 4F. Like every other Republican, he's a chicken hawk. Beyond that, he's actually a bona fide piece of shit traitor. Yeah, I agree with that. But then he fought his own personal Vietnam. STDs. I don't know what that means. Send his dumb cult to fight for him too. I'll chip in for airfare. Only Congress can declare war, and they have not done so since World War II. I think they did after 9/11. I think George Bush was the last commander-in-chief. And if you don't know how you become a commander-in-chief, I'll tell you, there has to be a reason to go to war. The Congress has to vote to go to war. A war bill has to be made, and then they take that war bill and they hand it to the president. And when the president grabs that bill, he immediately becomes the commander-in-chief. And I think George Bush had, I think he was a president-in-chief. I know because that was a war bill when we went after 9/11. I'm pretty sure that was actually a real war, and I'm pretty sure it was declared by Congress. And but everything else, I don't even think George Bush Jr. had a president approval in Iraq. I can't remember, or congressional approval, but yeah, I mean, he might be right on the World War II thing. I mean, I might be getting my stuff backwards, but I want to think that, when 9/11, that the Congress voted for war, and I think he was the commander-in-chief at that time. But I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but that's how that goes. A critical vote regarding the continuation of the U.S. war against Iran is approaching, driven by May 1st, 2026, 60-day deadline under the 1970 War Powers Act. Gotta love the way they fantasize that this guy is tough. The guy with cankles the size of most people's thighs, who wears an adult diaper, was too cowardly to serve in Vietnam, never had any family member ever serve in the armed forces, and can barely walk. Now, the truth is, I've never been to the military. I knew too much about it. I didn't like the fact they were trying to recruit in high school. I didn't really understand at that time at 18. I didn't really understand bankers' wars so much. I did understand oil, and I just really did not. I mean, people were trying to get me to go into that too. And I wasn't married and didn't have any kids. And well, you're not married, you're not producing anything, you're just in business. Well, why don't you go do the military? I mean, it's like, what? That's the kind of area I live in. It's fucking wild. But I even told him, I'm not, something's wrong with this. I'm not, this is an oil war. I mean, we got our own oil. What the fuck are we even doing there? You couldn't tell people that back then anything. You can't tell them now. Well, I'm not going to read all these, but they look like they're all pretty much negative. And I'm in the same boat. This is a joke. This guy needs to be recalled, impeached, something. This is embarrassing. Anywho, like, subscribe, give me a shout out, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.